What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Wallet Monkey channel, where we give you all the credit intel you need to grow your wallet. So today, oh my gosh, this page is exhausting, but we are going to go back through and I'm going to give you, there's 13 total credit agencies or credit reports, supplementary reports that are out there on you right now. Now, I'm sure hearing that, you're like, holy cow, there's 13 different agencies. Yes, 13. We're going to go through all of them. The three you know, which are the majors, as well as a ton of other ones. We've updated this page. I went deeper into research, and collectively, this page has been a huge pain in the butt for me. It's taken probably 6 hours to make this page completely, and I know definitively that there's not a single resource on the internet that has all of this stuff on one single page and explains and gives you all the addresses, all the phone numbers, what prompt to hit, download this form, do this, all on one page in one place. So if you're excited about that, smash the like button. It helps this video get in front of more people, and we need to grow this community. But the thing is, I'm one guy, right? I have me, an editor, and one other temporary person. I need your help. I need your help with getting these videos out, growing this community, right? Our goal here is to be a data aggregator for all the things that matter for you to get more credit, grow your credit, get more money, right? Essentially. And so this is how we do this together. I take a ton of time and we research this and we build the resources for you, and then you guys go and push it out and spread it all over the internet. So this page is the master resource at this point for all of this data. So let's dive in. I'm gonna make this as fast as possible. We're gonna graze over some of the stuff that we discussed before because I did shoot a video about this before. The issue is it got no views. So here we are again, and there's some huge updates I gotta share. You probably are very familiar with Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. Well, let's break down what they consider. Now, this is all by the CFPB, right, which is the Consumer Finance something or another agency, right? And they have classified these next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as low income and subprime credit reporting agencies. So they've got a credit report. Now, understand that they've got a credit report on you. I don't know the amount of data they're going to have, because if you've never dipped into any sort of subprime product, then they might not have anything on you. They still might. So it's worth pulling these reports and getting access to this data and seeing what they've got on you. And then we've got some supplementary reporting agencies, which again, I'm sure there's a few on here that you did not know about. I've definitely been enlightened over the last day of research, and I'm going to give you everything down to how to pull these reports for free. Every single one of them, all 13 for free, once per year. How cool is that? Next, we've got these subsidies. Let's call them second tier, low income, whatever you want to call them. I call them second tier credit reporting agencies. There's Factor Trust, that's owned by TransUnion. So that means TransUnion is going to get and farm most of its data from Factor Trust in terms of subprime products, right? Clarity goes with Experian, and DataX is owned by Equifax. Now there's a couple other that are also owned by Equifax, like CoreLogic, Teletrack. There's actually two CoreLogic products that we're going to talk about. CoreLogic Teletrack and CoreLogic Credco. I don't think Credco is actually owned by Equifax, but it might be. I know for a fact Teletrack just got bought out in early September and is now merged with Equifax. So assume that in the same way that they're pulling from DataX, they're now pulling from CoreLogic Teletrack. Now, here's what's interesting about Teletrack is that this is the major data source for evictions and convictions. So if you've got a public record that you've done some time, or if you've gotten evicted from a place, this is the report that you need to pull and then freeze so that they can't pull that data, right? Because you'll still get approved if they're not able to confirm the data. That doesn't matter. They'll still approve you. Like if you're trying to go and become a tenant and rent an apartment or rent a condo, like they're pulling credit for that nowadays, right? They never used to do that. And so if you've got something like that on your record, understand it's CoreLogic you're looking for, the Teletrack product, okay? Now this is starting to get really confusing, and it's like, this is the game now, right? There's 13 different places to look for your data to freeze, unlock, do we lock it? Who pulls what? What do I do? Which just adds layers to this game, right? Okay, so we broke those down, and then there's micro-built, or it used to be called, I think, it's micro-built and control now, I think, but it used to be called PRBC. This is how it's defined in consumer finance paperwork and things that I found. On their site, they actually list all of this, right? And you can go and find, there's data companies for utilities, there's data companies for rentals and becoming a tenant. There's like 3 or 4, if not more, data companies for all these things. Just like you, I'm sure you're familiar with check systems, right? They deal with checking accounts. Well, there's other checking data aggregators as well. Check systems is just the biggest, and that's what 99% of banks and especially credit unions pull from. But just understand there's other ones out there. So anyways, micro-built. And so we've updated this. So now we kind of tell you what kind of data they pull. So you can read these little descriptions here while I got it up on the screen. Come to this page, bookmark it, right? Yeah, so there's microbuilt. So now let's move on. I don't want this video to be super long. Innovis, I'm sure you've heard of this. They're basically the main ID verification piece with getting approval on credit cards. So again, this is one that like you got to be careful if you're going to freeze it or what you're going to do with it, that you make sure that it's unlocked and it's ready to go for when you're actually looking to get approved for stuff. LexisNexis, here's what's crazy about this, is LexisNexis and SageStream are now one. But SageStream used to be ID Analytics, like back in the day, like 2014, 2015, right? So now SageStream, LexisNexis, and ID Analytics is all the same umbrella company, which this is important and this is something to realize is because there's roll-ups happening within this space. So there is consolidation happening of power, and that's good and bad. So just understand that, these different reports, so they've all got their own separate report, but they're all operating under the same company now, that makes it easier for getting stuff removed and disputing stuff, but definitely makes it harder once you're already blacklisted, let's call it, or you got things that need to be disputed, is because it's all showing the same data now. So data is being cross-pollinated, I guess you could say, right? So anyways, LexisNexis collects information in public records, multiple proprietary data sources that they're pulling from. This is the big one that I'm sure you've heard of, right? There's a million YouTube videos talking about LexisNexis, SageStream, etc. Innovis is talked about a little bit. So these are the two big players, and LexisNexis will give you a, what do they call it? A consumer disclosure report, and SageStream will actually give you a report closer to a credit report. Okay, so you can pull both of those. And then we have ARS, which is a new one that I recently found, which is Advanced Resolution Services. Now, don't get this twisted or mixed up with Advanced Resolution Services, the debt collector. They literally have the same name. You have to be careful when you're searching in Google. So the website for this is ars-consumeroffice.com. ars-consumeroffice.com. Again, all these links will take you to exactly where you need to go on the site. And so at this one, I don't have a lot of data on this one at this point, so I'm just compiling still. So this at one point was part of Visa, 2014, 2015 era. And at one point, it was also crucial for US bank credit card approvals. So what this would mean is even if I froze it, I would still get approved for a US bank card. But if I didn't freeze it, there might be something on that report that was getting me denied. Right? So I don't know if that's still true, but at one point it was. Again, they're just focusing on consumer data like inquiries, accounts, etc. When you pull these reports, I've done quite a few of these for myself and other people. They can be kind of weird because they're going to have a lot of blank sections if there's nothing to report. Some of them will pull they'll show you inquiries for the last 3, 4, 5 years. Some of them the last 12 months. Some of them they'll show inquiries that you didn't realize you did. They'll show soft inquiries as hard inquiries. Some of them will only pick up some inquiries. I really don't know how each one's algorithm works, and that doesn't really matter. What's important is that at least on a yearly basis, you should be pulling every single one of these to get an idea of what's going on. And you should understand which one does what to a degree, so that way you know okay, freeze this one, don't freeze that one. Right? Leave this one open, lock that one down. When you're going to make your plays and you're doing your credit spree, your app spree, or your game day strategy, right? So then I'm sure this looks familiar if you saw our last video. It breaks down into where to go to do a security freeze. So this is everything: Equifax, Experian, Trans, Innovis, Factor Trust, Clarity, DataX, CoreLogic, Teletrack, Microbuilt, and ARS. And you've got everything you need. You've got, if they've got an online forum or a page to go to or a download to have, we've got that linked right there directly. If there's a phone number to call, what prompt to push, where to mail it, we've got that data for you. Cool? And then, then we've got a big section here that I kind of stretched out and built upon, explaining the kind of LexisNexis and SageStream pieces, because now that they're all the same, understand that you get a SageStream consumer report and a LexisNexis consumer disclosure report. Two different things. You still got to pull both, even though they're under the same. And what's interesting is LexisNexis, I didn't know this before, they've also got a sub-affiliated brand called CLUE, C-L-U-E, which is Comprehensive Loss Underwriting Exchange. And this has to do with insurance, and they will actually track up to 7 years of auto and personal property claims, insurances, etc., and policy information. So that's kind of strange. If you're in the game for getting new insurance or trying to get a new house, understand that how many claims and how those were filed and whatnot might actually be used against you with this clue piece. And so there's links off to go research more for yourself and decide if you want to freeze that, which you can freeze that as well. And then we've got all the data here for you to submit a credit dispute. So you can call this a dispute. Teletrack calls it an investigation, whatever. It's the same thing. So all the phone numbers, online forms, submission pages, everything you need for that is all there for you. Very, very simple. all the addresses. I mean, literally everything you need is right here in vivid detail. Now let's wrap it up here with free credit reports. So I told you that we were going to deliver on that, and here's the links to either the page, the request form, whatever you got to do to actually request that. And we've got, I think, all but one you can actually get a report on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11. So there's 2 that you can't. There's just no way to pull a report from them. But most of them you can get. So I misspoke earlier and said you can get one on every single one. I apologize. 11 out of 13, not bad, right? And of course, you can do annual credit report. They're basically, I think, just going to continue to give out weekly. It was supposed to originally be through April of this year, but they're still doing it. So I have a feeling that they're just going to do it through at least April of next year. And then they'll probably reassess and do it longer. As long as COVID is still around, I have a feeling that they're just going to kind of open that up and allow you to get one for free weekly, which is great. Okay. So what else we got here? Opt out. If you want to opt out / opt in, there's a completely different process for some. So Sage and Lexus right there, CoreLogic, Teletrack, ARS has its own process. And then of course, if you're a California resident, there's all kinds of other things you got to do because the CCPA. Yeah, so anyways, there's the opt-in, opt-out stuff. And lastly, here's check systems information and what that really does and what data it's collecting. And as well as it gives you the address and everything you need to basically get a hold of them, pull this report. So this page you should have bookmarked. This page you should be visiting once a year at least and pulling these reports and seeing what's done. Now, I know that this is requiring more energy and effort up front. We tend to get excited. We want to just go on an app spree tomorrow. But the more prep work that you make, or you just want to help the algorithms, these super simple, stupid things help with the algorithms so much and help grow this community. So thank you so much for taking a second to do that. And if you're brand new here and you like this, hit the subscribe button, bell notification, be on the lookout. More videos coming soon.